Lord Zelly, we're gonna do a podcast. I'm gonna be on his podcast. It's gonna be amazing. You should definitely watch. We got some.
Let me start adjusting
real
this.
heavy hitters in there.
Whoa.
Actual PvPers.
Where you guys at?
There he goes. All right.
Like actually PvPers.
So I'm gonna raid over to him. My face will pop up there in like a split second. I just have to turn my stream off in order to be on his. So raiding over there. Once his podcast ends, I am going to start streaming again with the cop thing. It'll be amazing. But yeah. All right, guys. I'm raiding over there. Hit the accept button. So it's pronounced Zeal, right? You're goddamn right.
It's Zelly! God damn it. Okay, let's fix llElloboll's screen because he has a little bit of
it's the police raid.
Leftover.
Put your hands in the air.
The police raid. Where's Sir Tanner? He doesn't have
Go get back here. No, I'm going.
Hold on, it didn't save your settings from earlier when I readjusted it.
Girls, let's go.
Oh. I'd say I ain't done that. Don't yell at me.
Alright. Thogard, with the raid of 76 people, whenever you fix your cam, Thogard, it'll automatically go back through and fix it up. Okay, I just want to do a mic check and see, man, everyone's looking good. Alright, finally, the llElloboll shower. I don't think he did, not kidding. What is this? We're doing a it's gonna be a PvP podcast. I had a few issues. Had a PvP, put on Killarians and some other stuff, and Zon, and you'd be okay. What's up, everybody? So whenever this man's webcam pops up, do I have the chat pulled up where? Oh, let me see something.
What, your stream chat?
What I saw earlier, what I posted earlier. Okay, we're good. There goes Stoggy. Why is Stoggy all goofy looking? There he is.
It's just his natural look.
God damn it, Zelly!
What?
Fucking son of a bitch.
What? There we go. Yo, hold up, bro. What is going on with your camera?
You can see my Red Bull cans. I feel exposed.
Can I?
Vulnerable.
I can't like adjust you like this.
Why can't I?
Tags can't win.
See all these
Tannips cams.
Bro, I don't have a cam, so I can't. Sorry to disappoint.
Yeah.
This man was pointing at his stream.
Literally do.
I don't like being on the bottom. I don't like having Thogard on top. It's very unnatural.
You're on top for the screen, or for my stream.
You're
You're above me, and Thogard is to my left. I don't know what's going on with his side cam. As you see a fucked up green
this is my
screen.
actual one. I use filters.
Though that's gonna work. That's gonna have to work. And then we got Tannips in the top left here. That's what's going on, homies.
So I can like look down on Thogard.
Yeah, I was gonna dox Tannips and post a picture of him eating this cookie in the top left, but I didn't wanna dox him.
That would have been a little bit toxic.
Yeah, that would have been a little bad. Should I play some super low background finger style music or something?
Ew.
Well, let me just hit this Relax Cafe. I have a bad feeling it's gonna have like voices and stuff. It's ambient music. That's gonna work. Alright.
Uh-oh.
It's only for if you can't be Thogard stripping.
Something like that.
We'll begin officially here in a bit, guys. So, what I had gathered from everything earlier, we're basically just gonna go through a few things. We're going to kind of do a quick brief introducing ourselves. We're going to basically say the main class we play, etc. Little stuff like that. And first thing that we're actually going to bring up that I kind of said for us to talk about was the Necro class. Mainly from a PvP point of view. And then after that, we're going to go over some of the patch notes and we're going to talk about the PTS, some little things if anyone went on it, tested it, etc. And then we're gonna talk about lag and performance in Cyrodiil. Let's be real, it's pretty crap. And then we're gonna talk about what ZOS can maybe do to fix Cyrodiil's performance, maybe spread out players, anything to kind of reduce lag in general. And then we're gonna talk about some useless sets or skills, and maybe talk about Zerging versus small scaling, and pretty much whatever else you guys want us to talk about. Lower my bit rate.
Or Zeal, your stream's lagging a bit.
Is it? I wouldn't be able to adjust the bit rate unless I reset the thing.
It's good
for me.
Okay.
It's looking good on my phone. Like it's
That's
fine
good
as hell on my phone.
Nice.
Yeah, because I have it on my phone too. It looks perfectly fine. Well, someone has a doo-doo computer. I'm kidding, man. Alright, so now playing some random ass music in the background. Individual, yours is clean. Yeah, it's gonna do that because I'm not necessarily 100% tapped into everything. Here, let's see if that fixed it. The only flaw that is missing is the top left. Yeah, I know, because, you know, Tannips can't afford a cam. But it happens.
I'm quite poor.
Alright, so for those of you that don't know, I'm going to go ahead and start the introduction part of this. My name is Lord Zelly. Everyone calls me Zeal. It's actually technically spelled like that. Let's be 100% honest. But Zelly because it's an abbreviation of my character names. But it's Zelly. Let's be real. Anyways, my main is a stamina temporary class. I used to run Zergs way back in the day, and it's no longer the thing that I want to do. It's not fun. I don't find it fun in any way. It's not all about small scale or solo. Thogard's the Zerging one, okay? I'm gonna just say that right now. But my playstyle in PvP is generally like to run around in full damage and clap kids. That's all it really is. I prefer small groups. I've done pretty much a lot of stuff besides all the trial hard mode bullcrap in PvE because I'm not a trial guy. I'm not a PvEer. But I went and got Flawless Conqueror and all that mess. VDSAs, piece of cake, all that. Alright, so now, if llElloboll wants to talk about himself real quick.
Hi, I'm llElloboll. I started out on a Standblade as a Zergling. And then I went to solo Standblade for about a year. Then I played StamDK for about a year. Then I've dabbled in most of the other Stam classes here and there. And yeah, mainly play solo or up to about 4-mans these days. Don't Zerg hardly at all anymore. Not really fun. In my opinion.
Alright, let's let this toxic ass Thogard. Alright, Thoggy.
I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. You know, I was born at a young age. You know, have a mother and a father. Started playing ESO around the age of 7. And, yeah, pretty much all uphill from there. I'm probably the least toxic player on PCNA. You know, people associate me with just being a good guy, you know? Just overall likability, polite behavior, and just generally keeping like a toxic-free, positive vibes attitude. Just a real feel-good streamer, you know? Real feel-good streamer. Like people come into my stream and they walk away just not only having learned about ESO, but also having learned about themselves. And I think that's really powerful to be able to share that with the community. Yeah, so that's me. Thanks for asking, friend.
All right, now
You say that with a straight face.
dude, I know, right? All right, I'm gonna just let me break down Thogard for you guys. Most toxic streamer in A, watches Toxic Tuesdays. Is a BG sweat, and that's all you pretty much need to know. All right, now we're gonna
lots of things, not just BGs.
Oh man. All right, so now let's get this man Tannips with the non-webcam having as self speak.
All right, I'm Tannips. I play StamDK. It's been my main since about 2015. That's when I started the game. I've played Stamden, and here recently I've been dabbling in Magpar healing a bit. I primarily do Cyrodiil and Battlegrounds. Typically don't like running groups larger than 8 people.
So heal Zerg, but not Zerg. Let me
Yeah,
just.
you gotta heal in those BGs.
Question: just how tan are your nips?
That's actually a really good question.
You know,
Like,
I
on a
think
scale from 1 to
He baited my
10.
thoughts.
you know, I think I've actually, I don't know if I've covered this before, but my at name actually has nothing to do with tan or nipples.
Ooh, missed opportunity.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Very disappointing introductions for Tannips by not having
Gotta
really
keep
tan nips.
Keep the expectations low. You can never disappoint.
All right. So these are your 4 streamers, or your 3 streamers and 1 friend, I guess you'd say. He does make YouTube videos though, and that's Tannips I'm talking about. All right. So the first thing I actually wanted to discuss today was how broken the Necromancer class is. There's obviously some ways, I'm sure many of you guys have seen the clip where Zadiel straight up rezzed his little skeleton buddies and one-shot me for like 30k plus damage. So, have any of you guys played with Necro yet on the PTS, or has it just been me? Lobo, Thogard?
I've played with Sam Necro quite a bit on the PTS so far, and my conclusion is that it's pretty broken. I believe Blastbones currently ignore Battle Spirit, and I think they also crit every single time guaranteed, if I'm not mistaken.
I've actually seen some screenshots. I wasn't able to get my combat metrics working, but I've seen screenshots of where people's blast bones crit every single time, and I don't know if that's legit or not. I couldn't get it to work myself, so I wasn't able to actually test it, and I didn't really recognize the crits in the little duels that I took in. But someone did post a screenshot where it showed all 24 of their blast bones critting, so crit every single time in a duel, on a player in a duel. So it could just be straight up bugged.
That is a bug, right?
But,
Wasn't there a note about that in the
yeah.
PTS patch notes? Like
Yeah.
they double the crit rating or something. So if you have like a 50% crit rating, it gets
It was
doubled
100.
to 100 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I heard about that. But yeah, even when I was messing with and that thing, it hits hard at that when it does crit. You know, sometimes we get like 30k Dawnbreaker crits on NPCs or something. I was on just a regular target dummy, not even like an actual, like, not the new one that has all the debuffs on it, but just a regular target dummy. My little blast bones were critting for like 40k constantly. It was like 30 to 40k. Like, that's ridiculous. That's some hella raid buff type shit, man. Like, that is insane. The chat's saying that it's not just necro pets, it's all pets. I haven't messed with any other pet anywhere else, but yeah, that's pretty dumb broken. What do y'all think about the Colossus ult? Have y'all seen that?
Looks really strong.
Dude,
Looks very strong.
When I was in duels, I was playing a Mag Decay. This was like a little light armor Mag Decay, not a problem. You know, I was having fun. As soon as someone used that Colossus, I was dead, bro. Like, it's actually kind of quiet, man. It's not ignoring battle speed, just damage is too high. Yeah, man, like, straight up, bro. I'd be dueling. Everything's fine. I'm on my Warden or on my Mag Decay that I was using, man. Someone uses that ult, instantly dead. Everything else behind the ult hits hard. It gives you major vulnerability, and you're just dead. You literally just fall over and you die. You take like 800,000 damage. Your character shits himself and he's dead. He's gone, bro. Like, that was broken, man. It's, dude. Yeah, it is too strong. I agree, but what are some changes,
good
bro?
Business-wise,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think there's going to be any actual changes coming to it soon. I think they're going to adjust a few things just to kind of get the community to hush up a little bit. But just like when Warden came out, bro, Warden was strong as hell. Warden was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous, man. Like,
I remember like at the very beginning, like the first couple of days when people were on Wardens, it was like really strong for like about a week, and then everyone learned how to move out of the way of the beetles. And then it was one of those classes that seemed to stalemate a lot. But like at the very beginning, everyone used the fucking bear. And once wardens started to realize that they didn't have to use the bear, that they would be better off with just like Dawnbreaker and trees on the back bar, then it became like a really tanky class, but it didn't really seem to have like a lot of damage potential. And this was back when the wardens were like mostly spamming the bird on people.
Birds.
But then like people were just like, all right, well, let's just, you know, use shocks and then a bunch of healing buffs, and that worked really well. And you'd see some wardens really start to take off, like Cody, in open world, Trinitops and the BGs. Really strong class. But I think it took time for people to find out what worked, and also took time for people to figure out how to counter it. And then of course the nerfs came, and those nerfs I think were very needed. It was pretty much impossible to kill a warden in Bloodspawn because they could just spam the trees in the beginning. The cost of the trees was too low and the healing too high, and both of those things got nerfed. The cost got increased and the amount of healing from the trees got decreased. And that was really frustrating. And I think though that they caught on to it. I feel like it should have been pretty obvious from the get-go, you know, because stupidly OP healing is not something that's not exactly predictable, you know? Like, we can see that coming. And I'm worried about the same thing with the Necro. Like, it seems like ZOS has been moving away from these one-shot builds, with the racial changes being, in general, to lower burst damage and increase just overall damage. But also with the snipe change, with the in-cap change, I think we're starting to move away from one-shot builds. And then to see llE go from like 100 to 0 in a split second was hilarious, but also worrisome, because I mean, it's not like you were, you know, not in impen. Like, I was just like, Jesus Christ. Like, I don't even know if there's anything you could do to get out of that.
Here, let me real quick, let me see if I can pull up a video of that. I'm gonna go to the YouTube display. You guys are about to see my full display real quick, but let me. Bro.
You can have him. I don't want him.
He just happened to be fucking blocking, bro. What the? What the fuck?
But I mean, I think we can expect for it to go live very unbalanced. I mean, it's just like I said, it's a good business for them to let it go live unbalanced, because everyone, Cyrodiil has this pattern, I guess, where everyone wants to use whatever the meta thing is, whatever the most powerful thing is, which is understandable for a lot of people. And you know, I'm sure ZOS knows that, so it's gonna sell the DLC better for them if it does go live broken, just like Warden was.
Just like Warden.
But I mean, my thing is, how long is it gonna take for it to? Because I'm okay with it being broken. You know, it's like I said, it's good business for them, so it's whatever. But how long is it gonna stay broken? And for me, Necro has so many animations. What is this gonna do to Cyrodiil performance? It's already pretty bad currently. What are all these animations gonna do? Because it's one thing just to get bursted, but it's another to be outplaying people. But there's so much shit going on around you that you drop to 0 frames and you're lagging, you know, like 10 seconds behind everything. That's my concern mainly.
I do think the Necro will have a lot of a big part to play in Cyrodiil lag, because currently right now, I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but there's Zergs out there that'll run Werewolf with the Dire Wolves, and when you fight those Zergs, it's already laggy because of how many players are on screen, but you add in all those pets on top of it, and it's just, there's no frames to have at all, regardless of what your setup is. So I think with having as many people switch to Necro as is to be expected, it's going to just be aids to play in.
Dude, man, and like kind of what y'all was saying, bro. Like the performance, not even just during peak time, just overall. Sometimes you wouldn't be doing anything, bro. Your frames would just be dropping, man. Just Necros even being near you, bro. I think it's just really gonna shit on performance, man. Because we have everyone's so balled up now. Everyone fights at the same keep, and if not, the game's just pretty much just dead. Like fight wise for us specifically, it just becomes dead. So that just takes away the whole point of PvP. What I'm getting at is when you have all these other classes in this game that have all these large AoEs, example, Templars, like Cleansing Ritual, stuff like that. All that builds up and just reduces everybody's frames in general. And it's already bad. By adding Necro to the case, you see how big that Colossus is? Imagine when you're going to go around to Old Bum. You're already at 10 frames, bro. 20 frames, whatever. Colossus is going to drop. This dude has his pets. He's going to start shooting bomb blasts. You can see like 30 of these little Colossus going off at once, bro. Yo, computer going to fry and explode, dude. Like, holy cow. Like, it's not going to help performance, even though the class is being released and a lot of people asked for Necro to come out. But, bro, like, God, man.
Yeah, like the way the game works now. And I was talking to Rich Lambert about this actually at TwitchCon 2017, I think. Like he was saying that one of the biggest drains on not the server but on our own individual computers is that all of the animations get preloaded in, right? Every animation has to get preloaded into your system so that if someone does that, it's not going to have to download an animation. It's just going to play something that's already preloaded in. So every time they add a new animation, it's just more, of an impact on your own individual computers. One of the interesting things about that is how a lot of times what they'll do is they'll try to reuse existing animations from PvE. And we've seen that with a lot of things. Like I think the animation for Slodes, if you guys remember when Slodes went live, they said they were going to nerf it, and so they changed it to this projectile, but that was a projectile that they had stolen from the boss of whatever that dungeon is. I don't know, PvE. But they're able to reuse something. If you look on the flip side of that, look at when Sijic and Somerset went live. Time stop. I mean, that was massive amounts of CPU lag and computer drain for all of us. And even though Somerset had some built-in performance enhancers like the multi-core support or multi-threading support, just the influx of new animations was a real drain on a lot of our systems. And I think that that's a problem. I also think, though, that with Necromancer, hopefully they're able to reuse a lot of the animations that are already in the game. I want to say like one of those Dragon Bones bosses, like some of that stuff might be reused. Hopefully, I really don't know for sure, but it's something to put a drain. But let me ask you guys this. In addition to like the client side animations and strains on the client side, I keep reading about how they're going to be upgrading the servers themselves. And one of the things I'm worried about the Necros is that the servers, I feel like, are going to take a lot of stress too, because Necro has a lot of AoE things. Necro has a lot of not just, AoE damage, but also AoE heals, a lot of ground target stuff. Pets, that's like a lot of things that the server has to keep going. I mean, pets put a ton of strain on the server because each pet is its own individual entity. And I'm worried about Necros affecting the server and slowing down the latency of the server as well. But I also keep hearing people talk about how ZOS might be upgrading the servers. Have you guys heard anything about that? Like, I read other people saying, but I haven't seen anything official.
Man, the very few times I go and actually get on the forums, because I used to cruise them all the time before I saw nothing but crying and complaining, and I'm just not about that. But one of the posts I did see by, I think it was, I don't know if it was Gina or who. It was definitely a ZOS like representative. And I remember someone even took a screenshot of it and posted it in the Cesspool Discord that we're all in. It was basically saying that like we hear your words and complaints, so we are actually going to work on improving servers or something like that. That's like all I really saw of it. But I did see a post, an official post by them saying that they are planning on upgrading their servers. I don't know how, but I did see it. I don't know how they were going to do it though.
I remember was the last post that went out about the mega server updates for all the platforms, whatever that was, like 2-3 months ago, something like that.
I don't specifically remember them talking about upgrading the servers, but I do remember them mentioning a few things about trying to reduce the number of calculations the game has to do, which they think will help server stability. I know that they're talking about the keep walls, for example, up on the cathedral-style keeps. That's no longer going to be destructible. Same with resource towers.
Pre-recorded. Sorry for interrupting, Ken.
No, you're all good. That's pretty much all I had to say.
We're live, by the way. Nah, I don't know how they'll adjust it if they do adjust it. I do remember them specifically talking about the EU servers, like one of y'all just mentioned. I remember reading up a lot about that. A lot of people are really happy about that because they're talking about how EU itself is getting a crap ton more players. More and more people are hopping on EU servers in general. They're getting a lot of players. So I know EU is definitely going to be getting some love soon. But I don't know how they're going to do it. They can't seem to adjust what they already have. It's just not working.
That's the thing. Like, people are saying in chat that whenever everyone gets together, like, it's just not it's not when there's a bunch of people on. Like, I stream during the mornings on Tuesday and Thursday, and there's a lot of times 10:30 on a Wednesday morning or something. You know, Vivek is unplayable sometimes. The lag is it doesn't follow those patterns of, okay, it's prime time, everyone's on, and it's also going later and later into the night. So, you know, used to it started, I'm in California, so it'd start for me around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You'd start seeing the lag, and it would end 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. Now it's going sometimes until like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. You're still lagging like crazy in Vivek, but you can't find a fight. There's no one there. So what's actually causing all this?
Yeah, there's even been times where I'm just checking a damn resource. Just taking a resource, bro. And it's just like, you could definitely feel the lag. Even though if it's like a half second, that'll really impact fights in general. And there's been times where I walk up to a resource, I start taking it, you know, you're going through animation cancel and everything. You don't even want animation cancel because how laggy it gets. It gets unplayable and it becomes unenjoyable at that time. There's literally been times where I'm in Viv and I go to resource and I'm like, nope, I immediately switch to shore because of the lag itself. And then, you know, I get nothing in shore. There's no fights. Only during like prime time when maybe it's all caps lock, some people will go in shore as a second option, but it's pretty much dead most of the time. And at that, the only fights actually going on in shore are at the same location. There's one Ash fight going on. There's one rollback fight. There's one fight at Chow. You go over there, it's a 30v30 with maybe like 3 AD or something there. And if you go to row, it's the same thing except maybe 3 AP or EP or DC there. Like, it's just, you just run into a giant Zerg, like, regardless.
I've noticed that Sotha is starting to become quite laggy as well. It used to be the place where we would go when, you know, PvP was dead in other servers, or it was just too laggy, like you mentioned in Viv specifically. And it seems like a lot of players are just trying to migrate, and the servers just can't handle it, regardless of where you go anymore.
Dude, it's just we're kind of on the topic about the C that we put here. Excuse me, lag performance in Cyrodiil. Well, what do y'all think they can actually do to improve the servers? Not necessarily like, oh, go work on the servers, not flat out like that, but maybe like spreading out players, giving Cyrodiil better objectives. Like, give us something to actually do with the towns. Like, they tried to give a small, motivational, like, course towards the towns itself. But let's be real. We take a town, we sit there for 30 minutes and maybe get 3 people. If not, 300 people show up. Like, they're still gonna ball up regardless. Do you guys think there's anything that we can actually do, or that maybe Zos can do to actually spread out players?
I noticed something this morning actually. Alcast had someone had clipped something from Alcast stream. Did you guys see what the ultimate is if you have that Volendrung weapon equipped?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's specifically designed to destroy ball groups. Like it was specifically designed to destroy ball groups, and I'm really excited for that.
Interesting.
What about also if you actually made it worth it AP wise? You know, if you take a resource by yourself, you get more AP. The amount of AP gained is tied to how many people take it. Same thing for keeps. You know, if you like 2 mana keep capture, you get 20k AP. If you have over 10, then you get the normal 6k, something like that. Rewards tied to the amount of people.
I think something like that would be great, man. So many hits and misses of everything though. It's just like I felt like if they like you're saying like the less players, right? I had someone walk in, so I didn't hear the full gist of it.
Yeah,
but,
so if you like 2 mana keep, you know, you 2 mana declaw and you capture it, you get 20k instead of the 6. And if there's more than 10 people, then you get like, you know, the standard 6 or whatever.
See, and I think stuff like that would work, and it'll be great, trust me. But here's the downside. Do you guys remember what was it? All the way south was a Black Boot. There was a resourcer that was giving like triple the resources, and people were just flipping to keep back and forth, back and forth. Did y'all know about that?
That's true.
There's a video that I could. I don't want to pull the video up, but there's a video out there on YouTube somewhere that that Goblin uploaded, and he basically went to go kill those players that were flipping the resource back and forth. They're getting like 12k a pop. Go take the resource. 3 seconds later, resources there. They run back. The other group comes in. 12k back and forth. It was like 12k or something ridiculous. Back and forth, back and forth. I could just see players doing that just to farm AP with the keep.
I think in order to prevent that sort of behavior, they would need to increase the what's the current duration for the AP to reset after flipping something? It's a couple of minutes, isn't it?
I don't remember.
I think that they would have to up that timer quite a bit to deter that from happening in the future, because like you said, it's just gonna keep flipping over and over again. So they need to address that first.
Yeah,
I
and
would
even
also like to see. Oh, go ahead.
No, go for it.
I would also like to see more abilities and armor sets resembling Proxy Debt and Vicious Death. I think that's a good way to help counter these Mega Zergs that form up. Is you know, the more people in the area, the more damage they take. Just to help small mans take those groups on, in addition to discouraging that kind of play style where people just ball up and sort of run everything over.
Man, y'all remember when Proxy was great? So I actually remember that when Inevitable Debt on a max work was nice. Whatever, man. I don't get how they literally add something into the game, and it's like it's intentionally made for Zerg busting. They know what they were doing with this ability, and then they go and nerf it to the ground. So even if you have a crap ton of people still stacked, Proxy itself still isn't even gonna get hit that hard. Like you need to stack Proxy with like other people's ults and everything. Like I think Proxy should get rebuffed, not to a big extension, like not something ridiculous, but I think it should be more quote unquote balanced, not necessarily to where it'll help a lot with like single target DPS, because honestly that skill being single target wise, I don't know.
It's kind of like a chicken and egg situation, right?
Yeah.
'Cause Proxy is like, yeah, it's like a great way to break up the, like, you know, Zergs, because it works well on Zergs, but at the same time it's still like a AoE ability with like a massive radius that itself is going to put a lot of stress on the server. And so like, yeah, maybe it'll make groups spread out, but if you're stacking proxies and rushing forwards, everyone on top of each other, then you're kind of causing the thing that you're trying to prevent by using proxies to begin with in that situation.
No, you're definitely right about that.
I'll be right back, guys. I think my food just got here.
Yeah, do go for it. All right, we're officially kicking Thogard away from the stream now. He's getting cut off.
Can I have some food?
It was intended to bust Zergs, but became a Zerg tool. Bro, that right there, man, it's exactly what happened to Proxy. That Proxy, like, I used to use Inevitable Dat on a duel with Maxork, and if there was even like 4 people stacked, that shit used to hit hard, bro. It used to be like just BAM! Gone. It's just vanished, man. Now it's just, it's a piss poor ability, even when it's stacked with like 30 people. Let's be real. Even if that ability to get rebuffed to what it was, this meta in Cyrodiil right now is all about insane healing and insane tankiness. It's all about snares and roots, and it's just not the same anymore. So Proxy Dead itself wouldn't even work. Like, yeah, you could maybe stack a few proxies, try to get a hard initial burst, but then you got stuff like, Earthgore, obviously getting nerfed to the ground next patch, and you just have super strong healing in general. Everyone's in heavy armor now. Everyone's healing for like 50k vigor ticks. Not necessarily, but you see what I'm saying. The current meta itself, even if we had something like that come back, it's just not going to work. It really isn't. It's just the current meta, kind of like what llElloboll actually wanted to bring up today, is just full of tanky players and ridiculous healing. Ridiculous healing, man. Like on my medium armor Stamplar with not much into Bless or anything, I hate saying this, but I like getting as much stacking stats as possible so I can heal as much. But it's part of the issue, man. I don't have major mending. I'm not using major vitality, but I'm getting vigor ticks like 4 to like 4.8k. Like average ticks in long duration fights. That's ridiculous. And that's not even including people around me that are even trying to heal me, that are healing for probably as much the same. And I'm not even like that tanky, but dude, tanky players, some of them can be getting more, man.
That's what my DK does. I can hit 40k resist and still have 6k weapon damage, and sustain perfectly fine. Like that's not good in the long run. It's probably adding to some of the huge performance issues. Is these huge groups, you can build like that and you're just not going to die. So these fights that should be over quickly, Earthgore is potentially going to be taken out of that equation. But you ult bomb in these fights that should be over quickly because you outplayed this group, and they're supposed to be dying now. There's these things in place that are just keeping them alive, and it's prolonging fights that really shouldn't be prolonged at all.
Yeah, man, like 100%, bro. I'm on the road with you with that one. And kind of like what Thogard was saying before he left to go get his food or whatever. Dude, like it's literally prolonging fights. If someone is dead, no skills, none of that stuff is going off, right? Less or better performance. I was gonna say less lag, etc. But it's kind of better performance the more people are dead around you. But even though there's already lag and bad performance while people aren't around you, having these long durated fights are just making more lag essentially. And let's be real, sometimes you go into a fight and your FPS drops through the super long fight. Let's say you're actually trying to help someone capture a keep. Bam, you capture the keep, you start getting a memory leak, your frames never go back over 30 FPS even though there's no one around you. You got to reset your client, you got to do all that. All these prolonged fights are part of the reason why we have to reset our clients ever so often. Our stuff just essentially like shits itself. But yeah, Mish, exactly what you're saying right there is what I actually do agree on. A healer should be a healer, a tank should be a tank, and a DPS should be a DPS. But instead we have DPSs who tank and can heal. Like, bro, that's literally it. And I think part of the reason that is, I'm not going to try to shit on defensive ults, but defensive ults are insane right now. Even if you don't build for tankiness, you can just, boom, pop a rest ult. Next thing you know, you're tanking the Zerg for the next few seconds. Like, pop a Remembrance, don't even let the full channel go through. Bam, I got major protection. This dude by me has like 8k weapon damage. He's not killing me because I got major protection on. Like, dude, defensive ults, honestly, in this game are stupidly strong. They are very strong and no one talks about it. People used to cry about Dawnbreaker and it being the meta and being the hard-hitting ability. Dude, like, for real, like, you ever use the Nightblade's heal version of Soul Tether? It heals you for like 38,000 or something on mine. Not even high damage. Bro, 38k for everyone in the area that you use it on. Bro, Earth Guard 2.0, when you want to use it, bam. Doesn't remove negative effects or anything. But it's so strong.
2.0 is coming next patch with that Cadwell's mobile healing
Mm-hmm.
set, whatever that bullshit is.
Has anyone tested
Magic
that?
Vitality. No, I haven't. I haven't
Scared
gone
to.
through and tested it yet. It's just I by the way, Thogard, we're talking about the how the meta right now is like super tanky and everyone can heal and DPS and tank and stuff. That's what we're just
I
really
like to
talking
call
about.
it stalemate builds.
Stalemate builds.
The overall strategy behind a lot of that is that these days people know that they're bad, right? People have been playing this game for 2-3 years. These Zerglings, 2-3 years, they know they're bad. They know that when they see certain tabards or certain players, they're not going to win. And so rather than trying to win and going with offensive builds, they just try to avoid losing. And the thing that sucks about that is that for one thing, it wastes everyone's time. And for another thing, you know, if they're hanging out in a Zerg lane, the fight's really just decided by which Zerg shows up first, which takes the element of like skill and fun out of it, in my opinion. Like a lot of them will not chase you anymore because they know that if they chase you to some like obscure part of the map, the rest of their Zerg won't come there to save them. Like a lot of these people literally build to survive until the Zerg shows up. And that's a real problem. That's a real problem because offensive builds, like the ones that we tend to run, like, you know, 2 damage sets, and then like Blood Spawn or something like that, those builds are super vulnerable to getting Zerg down. Like, we're not in tank builds. We can't tank 20-30 people. And it's a real problem. It's a real problem. And I don't even blame ZOS for it. I honestly don't. I blame the fact that this is just an aging MMO, and the players they've given up on their dreams of being good. And that's depressing, but it's realistic, you know? Like, not everyone's going to be Cody. You know, not everyone has that in them. And I think that, honestly, building to stalemate is it's a problem, but I don't have any ideas for solutions.
See, something that I kind of read while you were speaking there, and by the way, I do agree with, I do 100% agree with that, man. But just real quick, what Baka kind of said, he actually had a real good point. He basically, when we're talking about how to balance it a little bit, he said that's not going to happen. ZOS's philosophy of every class being able to do everything combined with the overall numbers in the game just makes it that way. To fix something like that, he's saying that we would just need to nerf the numbers across the board. That I think if they did that, it would force people to actually go into one area instead of having big numbers overall.
But then, you know, you're looking at situations like no CP. You know, like about like a month ago, I was trying to do 1vx stuff in no CP. It's fucking impossible because even though you can kill the stalemate builds in no CP, like as soon as a second person shows up, you just take one. You're destroyed. You're destroyed because your own survivability is down. Like, they don't have that window anymore where skillful play can be as effective because these tanky builds are designed around mitigating the advantages of being good. And I think that's a problem. But I don't know that there's an easy way to fix it. Because, like Sakar says, reduce the CP cap.
I would love that.
When we go to no CP, it's even worse. Like, trying to 1vx is even more of a, you know, fool's errand in no CP. Because, yeah, you can kill them, but they can kill you even faster. Damn. And slowing the game down, same thing. I think the only thing where we'll really see a solution, and there's no way ZOS would ever do this, but the only way we would ever see skillful play become more of a factor is if they lower the global cooldown from like 1 second to like 0.75 or something like that by speeding up the game so that players that are even faster and even more strategic and making the right moves are going to have a larger window to shine. But they'll never do that. There's no way they'll do that. And so, I don't know. I think it's just a problem. And I think in time we're going to see, you know, small scaling become less small. We've already seen it.
Here, yeah, small scale is already really small, it is, but what Randy's kind of saying is from what I'm reading, let me just read like directly what he said. He said the majority of players will be average or below average, and Zoss is not trying to have the already smaller PvP population shrink more. Every time a small scale group like wipes a large group, that large group will literally stop playing. They'll get demotivated and they'll literally leave the campaign sometimes. They'll switch campaigns and they'll just move. I think this game, honestly, the way it is, this game, a lot of people, this is a very controversial topic, as in like in the small scale community, bro. Like this game was intended to be large scale. Like we just happened to make small scale work in a way. Like they're talking about giant fights. If y'all ever saw, there's this YouTuber, really popular YouTuber, and it was like it's something about being mad. I don't remember, but he literally ran like 100-man Zerg or something. And this is when server performance and everything was great, dude. But the game caters to more casual gameplay. Angry Joe Show, thank you, Delirious. But what I'm getting to is that the game really is casual. It's casual as hell, and we're just trying to make something that's more, I guess, competitive or elite, or whatever you guys want to call it. We're trying to make that happen in a world that it necessarily 100% wasn't meant to be that way.
I hear what you're saying, but if I could offer a counterpoint, those of you that watch my stream probably know that before ESO, I didn't play MMOs for like a long time, and then before that, I was playing Dark Age of Camelot. The ESO PvP, like Cyrodiil, is 100% based off of Dark Age of Camelot. It's like it is literally a direct copy.
Yeah.
Every keep has 3 towers. You can port to different keeps. There's 3 alliances: the Elf Alliance, the Dwarf Alliance, which would be EP, and then the Camelot Breton Alliance. Like an exact copy. It's just Dark Age of Camelot with Skyrim's engine. That's what ESO is. Dark Age of Camelot, I bring that up because at the very beginning of the game, there were massive Zergs, and everyone ran around in massive Zergs. Over time, the bad players either left or they got good. And what we saw was not just all the small scalers quitting and leaving. What we saw was more and more small scale groups popping up. Now, you can still play Dark Age of Camelot to this day, even though it's been like 16, 17 years since it came out. And if you go like watch anyone that's streaming it, odds are they're probably in an 8-man group, because that game was all about the 8v8, the small scale versus small scale. And, like back at the launch of the game, you'd see like, 8v like 30, 8v40. My own group's record was like an 8v86, which was possible in that game because that game had very punitive crowd control measures, and small groups would use crowd control to make very large groups manageable. This game doesn't have that, and so that's why it cracks me up when people complain about snares. Imagine being rooted for a full minute. But that's neither here nor there. Dark Age of Camelot evolved, and it became catered towards the only groups that were left, which is the small scalers. And honestly, I think we're seeing that with ESO 2. It's the exact same thing. There's like one massive Zerg per faction, and then just a bunch of small scale groups running around. Yeah. Guy said 8v86. Yeah, we literally did that. One of my buddies has the video, Molly Whoops. There's no way you could do that in ESO. It would crash the server. And we did that by pulling them underwater, which had a Z-axis that we could kite in pretty well. But yeah, we literally won an 8v86 in Emain Maka. Good times.
All right, so any questions about any of that, about talking about the whole casual to the Zerg bombing type stuff? Anyone in chat got anything like worth mentioning at all? Or even Tannips?
Yeah.
Tannips has been kind of quiet.
I feel like even though the game is balanced is the wrong word, geared towards large scale, that small scale shouldn't be impossible, which I kind of feel like it's becoming more and more kind of on purpose. And at the same time, it's also depressing because there doesn't seem to be kind of a goal patch to patch that they're kind of following an outline. like healing got nerfed before Earthgore came out. So healing gets nerfed, and then a set like Earthgore comes out. Like, what's the point of this? And then major defile sources kind of get nerfed, the uptime and all that kind of stuff get nerfed, and then Soldier of Anguish gets introduced. Why? Now, granted, Soldier of Anguish kind of got killed before it went live, thank goodness. But
luckily,
yeah, and luckily it didn't act like slows where it could stack initially. That would have been insane. But it's just, it kind of seems to just be random what happens patch to patch, which is kind of depressing, honestly.
One thing I will say about that, as far as the direction of PvP, I believe was it Brian Wheeler that took over for llElloboll?
Yeah, I think so.
I believe he did say that they kind of agreed with the player base's opinion that the changes just sort of seem random without direction. I think he did mention that they were planning on establishing a end game for PvP and what they want to do with it. So I think that as long as they can define what that end game is going to be, and it's going to be good for the game's health and not promote mindless gameplay, I think that we have that to look forward to. But as it currently stands, I definitely agree that we're not seeing that anytime soon.
Yeah, one of the biggest issues is, like, to Zelly's point earlier, we can talk about how the game was designed for large-scale combat, like that Angry Joe show thing. But that's clearly not the case anymore based off of the limitations of the server. Like, we can talk about how small scale is dying. I would argue that small scale is the only viable part of the game left, because if you try to do anything else, the game becomes so laggy that it's unplayable. And I think some people just have like Stockholm syndrome or something when it comes to the lag in Vivek. I won't go to Vivek during prime time. The margin for skillful play when you have a 3-second delay on everything you do, that's not a video game. There's nothing like you might as well just be playing like Age of Empires, where your crown is telling you what to do and you're just like a soldier spectating. Like if the lag wasn't a problem, then yeah, large scale could be fun. Siege warfare could be fun. But it is a problem. You're literally playing the game on a 3-second delay if you're in a large ball group in Vivek, or even if you just go to Vivek to begin with during prime time. And so again, I would argue that small scale, until they fix the servers, is really the only part of the game that's playable, other than dueling and Stormhaven, which is the only form of PvP that has no rewards, no leaderboard, no ladder, literally zero consequences to winning or losing, other than spending a lot of money on potions. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I think, like, love it or hate it, I think small scale is, kind of the only thing that's left. And as much as ZOS wants large scale to be the thing, well, their servers clearly can't handle it.
Can't handle it. Yeah, I agree with you, like, straight up 100%. I'll kind of make a joke in here and be like, small scale is dead, but no, small scale isn't actually dead. For anyone that has ever PvP'd with me, how many other small scale groups do we run into? How many times do we run into someone like, oh, yo, I know them, let's just move over here, they're trying to fight this Zerg, we're gonna try to fight this group over here. Like, bro, small scale is growing, bro. I'm seeing all these new guilds pop up, I'm seeing new tabards, but to the point, I'm literally running into people like 24/7 that, even though sometimes maybe we do fight, maybe we don't, who cares? But bro, I will literally run into other groups all the time. And what will we do? We will kind of have this respect for each other for both trying to get the same thing done. And we're trying to fight larger outnumbered groups. But like, the only thing that I do agree that isn't necessarily dead, it's just super rare now, is 1vx. Everyone's small scales now because 1vx is just, in this current meta, in this current time, it's rough. It's honestly just rough, man. But yeah, small scale is growing. It's growing.
Zelly, to your point, like, I get accused of cross-realming a lot, like, Team Green or Team Purple.
Yeah, all that junk.
Like, I think all the small scale groups know that if we got into like a 4v4 or a 6v6 at row farm, the winner's not going to be like the best team. The winner's going to be whichever team the random 80 botards don't attack. Like the outcome of that fight is going to be decided by which Zerg shows up first, and that's not indicative of like a competition. That's not a fight. Like a lot of these small scale groups, like yours and mine, like we fight each other. We fought each other many times in the corners of the map away from the Zerglings. That's why the Zerglings never see it. But we do it out of their eyesight so that they don't see it, because if they see it, they're just going to start sniping. And the fights are close enough to where, you know, one ad, even if it's just one ad, like a Nightblade sniping a healer, that could be the deciding factor. Yeah. So I think small scale groups showing respect to each other and not hitting other small scale groups while those small scale groups are fighting, I think that makes perfect sense. I think that's the way to play. I think most MMOs that have small scale PvP develop that kind of culture, because the groups know, like, hey, you know, if I'm fighting the Zerg, if I'm on EP and I'm fighting the AD Zerg and your DC group shows up and hits me in the back, yeah, you guys will win every time because we're already fighting the AD Zerg. But you know that as soon as you kill us, then the AD Zerg is going to turn on you, and my group is going to be really pissed off, and we're just going to come back and do the exact same thing to you. And it's just a vicious cycle, right? Whereas if you and I message each other, because we're both GMs, and we message each other and say, hey, let's do 5v5 or 6v6 or 4v4 off here in the middle of nowhere where no AD Botards are going to show up and snipe any of us, it's a much better fight. It's a much cleaner fight. It's a much more fun fight. And I think overall, just less animosity gets developed as well due to, you know, ruining a team's fight against this Zerg.
EP has Botards as well.
It's not the same.
AD Botards, I will say, are the worst. I don't even get me on that topic,
damage bonus
man.
that Wood Elves and Khajiit used to have.
Yep. Bro, man,
They're their own breed.
that shit was rough, man. Oh my god, that's spelled wrong.
There was a point that I wanted to go back to a while back that Thogard mentioned with the Zerg playstyle. And the whole ping issue, it doesn't seem to deter people from balling up, regardless of how bad the ping is, because, you know, when you're running that many people, there's no consequences for, you know, missing out on those 3 seconds. When you've got, you know, like 7 Earthgores popping on you, you're running, you know, 40 people in a group. You know, you've got NPCs to help you at keeps. It's just, it doesn't matter. But for your small scale players where they don't have as much healing, they don't have as much survivability, it's just, it's so much harder to do.
Yeah, there's no margin for error if you're fighting outnumbered. You know, you don't have Earthcores that'll, you know, respond based on the server rather than client input, which is going to be delayed. You know, it's a hard fight, and that's why small scale tries to do it. If it was easy and if we could be just as successful with like 3-second delay, then, you know, it wouldn't be worth it. It would be
It'd just be meh.
It would be mindless.
Yeah.
That is the fun. Like, I started playing Magblade a few days ago, and I think I got my first 1v3 today. I was ecstatic. It was great. You don't I don't have that kind of fun on Zerg. That's why I stopped Zerging to begin with.
And all right, so any last few things? I kind of want to get into the whole battleground discussion, which actually some people in chat have actually kind of brought it up as well. So I did want to talk about BGs. Straight up, any last things that you guys want to talk about, Shoutout wise? Anything at all? Last minute thoughts, comments, concerns?
Nothing from me, no.
No? Okay, so BGs, bro. Okay, and just real quick, chat, you guys are going crazy, man. I'm trying to read all the messages as much as I can. I am reading them all. It's just that sometimes it's in the middle of someone else kind of talking, and it's kind of hard for me to kind of speak over them or anything. I don't want to do that, but I'm trying to get through everything so everyone kind of can voice their opinion. But I saw quite a few of you guys actually talk about BGs, that we should discuss BGs. So let's go ahead and start talking about Battlegrounds. First thing I'm going to say is, dude, I no longer like Battlegrounds. I don't find them fun anymore. I actually used to do Battlegrounds when it first came out all the time. But no one remembers that. No one remembers that because it was so long ago. bro, I was literally like, every BG was just so much fun back then, and now it's just you get ice wardens and hardcore, super sweaty pre-mades, and then you get the Thogards that just like to commentate and stream and talk crap about you on Tuesdays. It's just, what do y'all think about BGs? I just personally don't like them anymore. They're just not fun.
MMR
What's a
kills it for
battleground
me.
or what's a BG? I'm not familiar.
I kind of,
IVJ.
to me, MMR is kind of the same thing as skill-based matchmaking, because I used to play Call of Duty for years before I moved to ESO, and skill-based matchmaking is just typically not a fun thing. And so yeah, MMR overall pretty much kills it for me.
Yeah, but it's not skill based. It's more of a measure of playtime. We don't know the actual formula for MMR. I think that's the biggest problem.
We just know the more and more you play it, the higher MMR you have. Or that's all I know about it. I see, like, when I go into a BG, when I do a BG like maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, bro, like I see people I've like never seen before. Like, it's just I don't even think like it should be a thing. It's just I honestly don't understand why. I feel like we don't have the actual serious population for something like this. Even though lots of people ask for it,
Well, I think if you take
I don't know.
MMR out, then you're gonna
Bug stomp.
I think
well,
yeah,
that's
that's one thing that's going to happen. But
like you, Thogard, you get into these ridiculous queue times because there's only a handful of people that have your MMR that you're going to potentially be paired with. So if you take that out, you're taking away a lot of the long queue times that people are seeing. And maybe you could have something like something that's kind of ranked if people are interested in a ranked or like an MMR style, but then definitely one that's not.
And we've actually recently set up
solo.
We've recently set up our own BG league where we're going to use a custom MMR that we're keeping track of in a spreadsheet. Just because the MMR system that Zoss uses is both invisible and clearly trash, or rather not skill based. One of the main problems with the MMR right now, and like the BG matchmaking in general, is that you've got these different teams, right? But it's character based, not account based. That can cause these odd mismatches. And so like you have like someone that's like brand new on a new character, but maybe they're like me. Like when I first made a new character, I go into a BG. And I'm like, going like 30-0, like 25-0. And I get accused a lot of cheating. Meanwhile, then I go back to my main, and I am, going like 8-2, sometimes like 6-4. But those are matches where they're death match, but the scores are like 240 to 150 to 120. Like they're really close matches that time out. Even with no healer on any of the teams. And it's just because at the highest level, everyone has really good positioning and everyone has the ability to kind of keep track of both teams. And those of you that are like watching my stream on like a pre-made day know that it's like 90% running in circles or trying to flank one of the enemy teams. And it's actually really boring to watch. But that's kind of where it is right now. Those matches have a lot of strategy involved to them with the positioning, but that strategy is kind of boring. Like it reminds me a lot of watching soccer where there's like a lot of running around without anything happening until then someone makes like a shot on the goal. And I personally can't stand watching soccer. No offense to any soccer fans.
I can't do that.
But that's kind of like what high MMR is. But honestly, like when I get in one of those matches, I don't get accused of hacking. Like I don't get accused of cheating. No one really pops off. Like you don't see someone go like 20-0 in a high MMR match. Doesn't happen. If I have a brand new character though, and I go into the low BBGs, it'll be a fucking massacre, and I'll get accused of hacking. Those are the same people that are going to go to the message boards and be like, cheaters are cheating in PC. You know, it's a PC game. People tend to cheat. You know what's happening. How does he do this much damage and not take any damage? You know, and they're the ones that are going to stop queuing. So ZOS is intentionally trying to keep, you know, like the high MMR players, or at least the good ones, because those two are not perfectly correlated. But they're intentionally trying to keep those players out of like the low MMR BGs, because it's just like, I mean, it's like right now you go to a frontier town, it's a fucking massacre. You're like a 1v10. It's like, you know, easy mode. Just because those people aren't used to PvP. And in order to keep the PvP population high, it makes sense to not throw new players immediately back into the meat grinder against, you know, like Animosity or Regicide or Bloodsport or Scrubs Anonymous, like, or whatever Zelly's calling his guild now, Godslayer. It makes sense, you know. You don't want to do that. It'll scare people away and hurt the game's population overall. He still has that drawn picture of Wonder Woman on as well.
What did we cover while I was gone for 10 seconds? Did I miss anything like big?
Nah.
No.
Just a poster on your wall.
Changing your guild name.
So, I think something like custom BGs would be fantastic. It's something that I wish that always became a thing in ESO. Imagine the tournaments that we can actually have if we have these mass amounts of people coming in to do custom BGs and setting up a tournament, getting good prizes and everything like that. Yeah, I think something like that would actually be successful. Like custom battlegrounds.
I think so, definitely. Just because I know no one that I've talked to at least really enjoys the 3v3v3 gameplay, because like Thogard was mentioning earlier, it's really just sort of everyone kiting each other. And I think if there was like an option to exactly, free kiting. I think if there were more options to customize like number of players in the BG, number of teams even, it would really help the health of the game, because, you know, if we just have two teams up against each other, I know Zos doesn't like this idea, but two teams up against each other is just going to result in a straight up fight every single time, because there's nothing else to really do. You can't kite around other teams, you can't flank people while they're getting hit. It's just, you know, fair fight.
See, in this...
And sometimes those can be steamrolls, you know? Like, I understand why they don't want to do just one team versus another team in, like, random QPGs. But I think for custom lobbies, for people who know what they're getting into, like, if they don't like it, they just don't have to... They can leave the custom lobby. I think one of the biggest arguments against custom lobbies is that it'll take a lot of the best players out of, like, random queuing in the BGs. I would say ZOS would like that anyway. They don't want the good players going up against people that are brand new to PvP and getting like used to PvP through the battleground.
Let the sweaties play with the sweaties.
I'm all for it.
But I mean, every other PvP game does that I've ever played. You know, Call of Duty doesn't separate people. You go in and get stomped, and you just get good.
See that one player that goes like 80-2, and his 2 deaths are by his own grenade or something. It's just you're different right about that.
I'd even like to see just like a free-for-all BG where there's just no teams at all, and people just queue up against each other and fight whoever.
I would love that.
That would be like really 3 Nightblades in Cloak for the finale.
For the last 3, just 2 mag blades just duking it out for like 30 minutes.
just trying to find each other in Cloak.
It would be a necessary evil, but
the tech pods, or even maybe like ground AoEs that spawn or something, kind of like the new house, something like that would be pretty sweet.
I feel like a couple of the game modes are set up extremely bad too, and make fighting bad, like capture the flag and domination. I feel like those two, the way it's set up with the points, that the two teams that actually fight lose typically in what I've seen. And
even
that's
in
just
deathmatch,
like, what's the point of going into what's the point of going into a battlegrounds to try and avoid fighting? You know, like that's not fun. I mean, sure, you can blow through it really quick if you're just trying to AP grind. Sure, it's awesome if you can just win a capture the flag match in 3 minutes. It's awesome. Move on to the next one. But overall, it's not fun.
It's actually an issue I've seen a lot in just like every form of PvP is people will queue up for it, but then it's like they don't actually want to fight. It's just people show up and they want to get AP or whatever
Mhm.
rewards, end of campaign, you name it, and it doesn't make sense to me why you would queue up for something like that.
Darius has a good point. There's no motivation. There's no incentive to
To
actually
get
try
good.
and get good at the game.
I
Unless you have a personal goal of getting better and trying to be a 1vxer or whatever yourself, like the game does not push you towards that.
So let me ask you guys this, because I know so far we've been pretty negative. What are you guys excited about? And I can start off by sharing something that I'm super excited about, and that's the fact that Nightblades are just getting absolutely fucked.
destroyed.
I'm really looking
It's
forward
fucking
to
amazing.
that. I think it's long overdue.
That's actually
think
really
I'm gonna
awesome
need
because I
one.
feel
Dude.
like that indirectly buffs everything else a lot.
Yes.
It really
Like stand
does.
DKs. Stand DKs are going to be so powerful next patch, not just because of the actual buffs that they're getting, but the really hard nerfs to Standblade is like a direct overall survivability nerf or buff to Stand DKs.
Yeah,
It's
and
so
1vx.
tanky.
Like they're taking major defile away from snipe and incap. I think 1vx is going to be a lot easier because those are like two of the worst things that you can hit with if you're trying to 1vx. I'm excited about that.
One thing that I do want to bring up real quick, even though we're all hearing about these changes about Nightblade getting fucked, I'm also hearing a lot of things about Nightblade supposedly getting some other buffs, like group PvP
yes.
wise or something. What's going on with that? Because I have no idea what
so-
that is.
So those of you that have like watched my stream know that I tend to, as much as I complain about Nightblades, I'm usually advocating for the class to get buffed. Because the thing about Nightblades is that it's really strong when it can catch people off guard and when it's focusing an individual rather than a team.
Mhm.
Basically, cereal against potatoes, or in like an XV1 situation where the Nightblade's adding onto an existing fight. It's useless in groups. I'm like notorious for never grouping with Nightblades. And what they're doing to Nightblades is they're actually taking away a lot of its single target XV1 utility and replacing that with shit that benefits the whole group, like the minor vulnerability. They're also making it able to hold its ground better through the change to Relentless, where if the Relentless lands, it's going to give that Nightblade a heal, which is going to be great because now Nightblades can have a kind of more of like a hold your ground, stay with your group playstyle rather than having a defense mechanic in Cloak that literally requires them to run away from the fight and away from their group in order to benefit from their class defense. That defense mechanic was a problem, and their offense mechanic, which was single target, was a problem. And both of those things are getting adjusted. They're going to have more holding power so they can stay with their group.
Nice.
They're going to also, with Incap, the minor mangle thing, that is going to be really interesting because that's like a useful buff that a lot of stamina DPS trains don't have. I'm pretty sure I'm going to main my Stamina Nightblade for Battlegrounds in the BG League next patch because of the changes that they're doing to Nightblades. I think it's going to be really strong in organized PvP situations, which is something I never thought I would say. But I've been asking for it for so long, and I'm like, yes. Finally. They definitely moved in the right direction, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
I think Standblade got hit a little too hard. I saw someone in chat ask about that. I used to be a Standblade main, ganking and 1vx.
Gross.
I feel Standblade got hit a little too hard, but at the same time, I can't really be upset about it. I mean, it's been king for
A long
as long
time.
as I've been playing, pretty much. So it's kind of due.
On another note, we're talking about Standblade, but Cavalry actually, Mag Nightblade.
Is
What
that
do y'all
still a class? I thought
Dude.
they didn't make those anymore.
Dude, Mag Blade, bro.
Been
What
discontinued.
can they do?
Discontinued.
What can they do to Mag Nightblade? Because holy shit, I made this class for maybe only like 2-3 months. I guess you can't even really call it, man, because it was such a short duration. And this was about like 2 years ago, and the class was nice at the time. I got on Mag Nightblade, and even though it wasn't necessarily like a good build, it was just some random crap I put on. I went into Cyrodiil, and I've never struggled so hard in my life to kill players that I clap like nothing on my Stam Sword or my Stamplar. Or even my Mag Sword, because my Mag Sword just melts people. I got on my Mag Nightblade, bro. And when you're outnumbered, that class is a goddamn struggle. Like, what did they do to the class, bro?
I feel like it doesn't have healing.
That's the problem I initially had.
You can get heals on Magblade, but as far as just, you know, what it actually has, the damage is there, I think. I haven't been playing it very long. I've been playing it for a couple days, but I mean the damage can be insane. It is very obvious, you know, typically. But the damage is there. But the healing, just the survivability is not, unless you're perma-cloaking and you're just bouncing in and out of cloak, like it doesn't seem to have any survivability whatsoever.
Yeah, and I feel like if they build for survivability, then they lose that damage. And you're just in like a 20-minute long fight where they just keep hitting their shade, cloaking away, trying to do damage, shade, cloak away. It's an annoying fight.
It becomes almost like a stalemate build, like you called it.
Yeah, exactly. You got like the BRP resto on the back bar because healing ward got nerfed. That healing ward nerf hit Magblades hard.
Dude, that shit sucked, dude. I don't like it. But man, like straight up, bro. And at that, I feel like it was almost like Nightblade, Standblade in a way. Like it was just super single target oriented unless you got on a bomb blade or something, man. Like the class group play wise. I know this other PvP group that I'll just sit in their voice and talk to them while they're in comms. One of the healers got on a Mag Nightblade, and first complaint was like Mag Nightblade kind of doo-doo for groups. Second, why aren't you on your healer? Third, what is Mag Nightblade gonna do for groups? They complained the same thing twice, and it's just like, realistically, man, if people aren't spread out and you're playing that casual Destro Resto Nightblade, what are you gonna do from when you got an ult bomb if you're not a bomb blade? Like it's almost like in the same position as Stamp Blades, how they were so super single target oriented. Like, what about Magblade? Like, what can they do about that? I personally thought Soul Tether was pretty nice, but it's a meh ability. I don't know how I feel about it. And I feel like even when I did try playing Mag Nightblade, group play wise, I feel like I would just die when I go into all bomb. I would just bloop before I even hit my Soul Tether. I would either hit it and then just fall over or just die before.
I'm not really sure what they could do to help Magblade out. I can't really give an opinion either on the state of the class because I don't play it. I don't really see it. I don't think I've ever really used it outside of PvE. But I definitely, you know, all the Magblades that I've talked to, they've expressed their you know, issues with it and just the healing, survivability, like you guys said.
Yeah, dude, honestly, man, I ain't even play the class enough to really have an actual opinion on it. All I know is when I used to play, the damage was insane. Now, the burst is so obvious. I literally was in this duel for like, I'd say about five minutes. I actually recorded it because I wanted to go back and watch it. But let's say you're 1v1ing a Mag Nightblade. You learn the combos that they're going to do in like 5 seconds. Some of them will hit Soul Harvest, Fear into the bow. Or some of them will go Bow, Fear. You know, it's just stuff like that. And at that, I literally countered the bow proc almost every time. You hear the 5 ticks, you hear the bow proc like ready to shoot. And what would happen when this dude would try to burst me? He would try to Soul Harvest into the bow, right? No, he would hit me with the Soul Harvest while I'd block his bow, if anything, and then just heal back up with the rally. Like every single time he set up his burst combo, it literally just doesn't land. Because it's like, dude, you can hear it coming. It's almost like when you actually see a sniper sniping at you, and you just roll dodge it or block it real quick in the gap close or ult them or whatever. It's such an obvious burst combination, bro. And at that, when they slowed the bow down, that killed it. It made it so long for your bow to actually hit. I think that ruined it.
But I mean, that can be the same for stand blades as well. I mean, the heavy armor like dual wield and 2H stand blades that rely on the in-cap bow combination. Like it's a very similar playstyle, which is why I've never had a huge problem with an in-cap like a lot of people. Is because it is very telegraphed. If you get feared, an in-cap is coming, so either block or dodge roll immediately after breaking. Now lag can play a part in breaking the fear and everything, but
has anyone tried one of the biggest changes of the patch that I think it's not one of the biggest, but one of the things that I think a lot of people kind of glossed over was the removal of the 0.2 second global cooldown on channels. And that is going to be really interesting with stand blades in particular because of dizzy swing. And what I'm curious to see, is if we will be able to on stand blades. This is the build that right now, if gun to my head I had to pick a build, this is what I would run. Dizzy swing heavy armor stand blade, dizzy swing them up in the air, and then hit the bow proc in the air with the removal of that global cooldown. Can I force that bow to land now that I'm firing it off 0.2 seconds faster? I think maybe. I want to test it out. I don't have PTS, I want to test it out.
That's actually something I wanted to test on PTS, but when I was testing jabs, honestly, like it felt the same. I didn't feel like there's a very big difference. It's just D-swing as a whole. I understand that they took that 0.1 second out of the way. They reduced the channel time. They made it easier to weave light attacks in. The thing about D-swing now is the ability hits for dog shit. I was in 2 damage sets fighting a target that wasn't buffed at the time. I fought him buff and both unbuffed. And holy cow, my D-swings went from hitting people on live server from like 7 to 9k on pugs to hitting this dude for crits for like 4k. And that just... The ability itself is already bad to use in lag. It is really noticeable when you see it come. You can literally just block or roll dodge it or even CC them with the reverb or something before it even lands. Now they reduce the damage to the poor ability. So like I wanted to test it more, but it's just the fact that they ruined the ability's damage so much trying to rebalance it. I just completely just looked over testing the new time of it.
Like, cause it's like a damage buff if you spam the thing on the new cooldown, but it's a damage nerf if you don't spam it. And who spams dizzy swing?
Who spams it? Exactly,
it's not spammable.
It's your hard hitting burst CC.
I'm wondering if with the changes to Relentless, if that's going to be a really viable battleground, not dueling. Obviously, no one would ever do a dizzy swing build. That's suicide. But I'm wondering if that's going to be a viable way to play stand blade to make sure your Relentless hits. If you just use dizzy to set up the Relentless, I want to try it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, man, it really bummed me out. I'll tell you this though, the first thing I went on PTS to test was Stam Necro and a D-swing build. I'm all about hard hitting abilities. I'm all about clapping kids with high dawn breakers, etc. So first thing I thought was like, yeah, bro, let me try out D-swing and let me try to time it with the blast bones and the skull. I forgot what the skull is called, the little venom skull. So I was trying it. I didn't realize how piss poor D-swing actually was at the time. But I'll tell you this, you literally hit that venom skull because it's an instant cast ability. It would literally hit almost immediately after the D-swing lands. It was so I would imagine the spectral bow proc would land almost as quickly as that because it was literally D-swing light attack bam and with the low skull. It wasn't just like bam, hit and then boom. It was like bang bang bang. Like it was fast. It was fluid. It was nice. It's just at the time I didn't realize that D-swing's damage was reduced by like what 14%, something crazy. But it felt really really fluid and like the weaving purpose is just the damage itself got reduced by so much, and it was just I just don't feel like it's worth using anymore. It was literally ticking for some of my light attacks.
I really hope that with like these channels, I really hope they don't let happen the same thing to them that happened to heavy attacks when they changed the heavy attack times. which is the animation desyncing from when the ability actually lands and when the 2-hit check occurs for the clients. That's still an issue. Like, you can tell there's a noticeable difference between 2-hand heavies and like dual wield heavies, because one of those, the animation still syncs up pretty well. The other one, it's just not the case anymore, which is a problem.
Tell you one thing that has me super excited is the root immunity.
That's pretty interesting.
Root immunity. I was literally jumping for joy when I saw that.
That,
I was an idiot.
see, I think it's neat, and I also think the new Race Against Time is neat. It's gonna remove, dude. It's root snare immunity. That's insane.
Yes.
Not just that, bro. We're gonna have, I mean, Stam DK's already kind of got it back with like heavy armor rally, because you could use wings. Bro, you could literally run down Stamplar now. Like, Stamplar, Stam. Yeah, it's a great change for Mag. I just think it's also going to, yet again, buff some of these super heavy, tanky Stam classes again. Which, I mean, cool, but damn, at the same time, because you're going to be fighting some of these players, too. So, I don't know. Like, I think it's a great overall change. Mag definitely needed some sort of more, I guess, mobility to a sense. The other thing is that unless you're like a super block tank on Stam, you can't sit there and tank inside snares and roots like you could in Mag. From my experience from playing Magplar, even the short time I played my Mag Warden, it's just, unless I was on Mag Sork or Mag Nightblade, I was gonna die in those roots. But if I was on my Mag Sork, I'd literally sit there and just block tank everything. So I was snared, dude. I didn't fucking care, man. I breathed the life of myself for like fucking 15k. Like, I can't do that in Magicka classes unless I'm straight up perma block Stam DK meant for perma blocking or something. Some Mag DKs, you snare them, they're perma blocking and they're healing too. So like, I don't know how I feel about it. I guess I'm gonna have to see personally like how it goes when it goes live, because Mag can actually sit there and tank hardcore with their nasty block healing. I think the only other class that can really do that on Stam itself is Stam DKs with the major Mending, Igneous Vigor type stuff, and those sword and board builds. But like my Stamplar can't sit there and fucking tanking roots and stuff, man. So I understand that. I understand why it was made for medium armor users, because we're not in heavy, bro. Evasion, I'm referring to. We're not in heavy. We're not going to be able to sit there and tank like these heavy builds. So Magicka getting this immunity, I think it's gonna be really interesting. It's definitely gonna help us out, but I think it's gonna be a little bit annoying when we're fighting them, because it just, dude, I'm so tanky on my Magplar versus my Stamplar. My Magplar could sit there and roots, survive it. My Magplar gets rooted, gone. I get 2-piece clap, bro. They send me fucking home, dude, with the kids meal. Like, they pack me up. Like, I'm just being for real, dude. Like, that shit hurts, bro.
Beverages.
It hurts. But what do y'all think about the new Race Against Time? I think it's neat, but it's just like, goddamn, bro. Like, it's gonna be very strong.
I think Stam's gonna have to run gap closures next patch.
I'm thinking that too. As much as
people have already started doing it. Philly, I know you used to make fun of me for doing that last patch, but it's already catching on, and I think it's gonna get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, my gap closures in 2019. Who does that? Yeah, I'm gonna probably be doing it next month or whenever elsewhere it comes out. Because wow, like, there is just the change is insane, bro. I don't know, man. It's a big change. Huge indirect buff to even heavy armor Stam. I'm gonna use it though. If I ever want to go heavy, I'm gonna use it. That's how good it's gonna be.
What about IC getting its own queue? Do you think that's gonna populate IC?
Didn't IC get no CP and CP? I remember seeing that. Yeah, I remember being on the PTS and or not PTS. I remember reading the patch notes and seeing that.
I think it'll definitely help as far as population is concerned. Maybe not as much as we would hope for, because they're splitting it into 2 different campaigns based off of CP and no CP. But I do think that we'll see people around. Before, you know, you'd really only see people in, you know, like Shore at certain times of day, or Viv, you know, same case.
I'm super hopeful, but I think Randy's right. There needs to be more options for buying things with Telvar.
But the only thing I spend Telvar on is fucking Takijos and sell those. That's it. That's how I make my. That's how I used to make my insane income. Used to.
So
I don't know, man. I wanted.
So I see that. Hey, go ahead.
Okay, so real quick, just like, what was it? Remember when the IC changed to where they added flags and IC was populated for a week and then completely died off?
Yes.
Y'all remember that, right? Where they added all the district flags and stuff? I feel like it's just going to become the same thing. It's going to be like, hell yeah, we finally got a campaign. 2 weeks later, no one's on it again. There needs to be more motivation behind it than just this separate campaign queue. We, like what someone said, and I think what llElloboll just said, bro, we need more options to actually spend Telvar on.
I think alchemy bags were a really good start.
They were a great start.
They were.
And then adding the system, not the system, the house storage, that was a good start as well. Some people were selling those. Yeah, those are insanely priced. But it's a good start at something. But I do think that they need to give us more of a reason to go into IC and spend Telvar on stuff. Because literally the only thing that we do, then you talk to every other PvPer in voice chat. You know, PvPers are generally broken. A lot of people know this. People are also like, yo, bro, let's farm Telvar next Saturday. And, you know, they never go do it. You know, most of us are kind of all talking that sense because no one wants to sit there and farm it. But there's no real motivation to farm it. Yeah, we need gold, bro, but there's not enough options. Not enough real options besides Akijo to spend money on. And at that, people are undercutting it like crazy now. I don't even know how much it was. I remember when I used to sell Hakijos for like 30K. For a long time, it was like 15K after that. I've seen 30K? Some people, yeah, a long time ago, bro.
Good Lord.
And then now it's just like, what, 10K? 9K, 10K? See, dude, that's actual dog shit. That's doo-doo, bro.
It's because those events will come by and they'll just like throw Hakaijos inside of like gift crates or Jubilee boxes or whatever the fuck they're calling them. But, you know, it's okay to have those things happen at the event. I'm not against it.
I have hope for IC. I miss playing in IC. When I
miss it too.
Went from being a Zergling to a solo player, I lived in IC for about 6 months, and it's fantastic. It's my favorite place in the game.
That's what I did too. Like IC, if you're new to PvP, IC is the
7K.
Best place to get started.
It's great.
I mean, there's no lag.
It's beautiful.
The place looks cool as fuck. If you die, you're right back to the fight within like 30 seconds. It's amazing.
You gotta level up your Dark Brotherhood to get that Shadow Rider passive, so you can run through it on a mount.
Underrated passive.
Without getting that aggro. Yeah. Most underrated skill in the game. No one ever talks about it. Nerf Shadow.
Did he even know about that?
It cuts the mob's aggro radius in half.
Target, it's interesting.
Mounted. It's so strong for IC.
So
I see random. I see random blabbering is the topic. So I was streaming this afternoon, but I heard I missed some fireworks in the Fing Rush stream. Are we allowed to talk about that? I literally have no idea what happened.
Wait, what do you mean? The what?
In the Fing Rush about earlier today.
Yeah.
I didn't know exactly. I came in at the end of his stream, and I honestly don't know who it was against. I don't know what exactly was going on. All I remember is typing in his chat, but during the time, he was going off. I've never seen Fingers do stuff like that, bro. Like, I used to see Fingers rants on through his YouTube and on other podcasts and stuff, and I was like, dang, bro, like, he's going in. Like, I love his rants. This one, bro, I was in chat, and I felt like I was being attacked. How hardcore he went in, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know the actual details behind the drama. All I know is that hashtag if you're in here, you got roasted hard by him, bro. I think it was hashtag. But bro, what happened? Cause he was going off, man.
I did see Fing Rush. So I think I was there at the same time you were in the beginning, but I missed I heard after I left that it was escalating.
Mm-hmm.
But I was there for him saying that he knew that hashtag wasn't the one behind all those fake hashtag accounts that was trolling his girlfriend.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, I think the Imp group was teaming up with another group and fighting his group. But I mean, like, it's true. I totally get where the guy's coming from. If you're streaming, you have a massive target on your back, and he's the biggest streamer. You know,
It's giant.
like
Huh?
Supposedly.
Supposedly. I'm Tannips, so I don't have a face cam. Nah, I don't know, man. I actually really understand. If you look at it from a campaign wise, it is how you say fucked up, because I think of what it was, him fighting AD and DP or something like that versus Fangrush's group. I don't know what was going on, bro, but it's just down. Like all I saw was beefy, but I don't want to necessarily continue on this conversation itself. I just don't want anything. It's dangerous territory.
Toxic now. I apologize. I was genuinely curious.
I personally,
on a lot of it. I was hoping chat would answer because I know all three.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for too.
I know all four of us were busy doing stuff.
But yeah, like I'm saying, personally, I've never had anything with Fangrush. I've seen lots of stuff with him and people that I kind of know. It just, I don't know, dude. Like, bro, straight up, I subbed earlier. I thought this was great. I subbed earlier and I was like, damn, I'm cute. What did Fangrush say? You are cute, Lord Zell. And I was like, I'm cute. He said it. So I'm good. I'm good. By the way, Thogard, thanks for the resub. I have my notifications off, by the way. I got quite a few follows, but I've just been on this track, you know, guys. But let's see. What else did I have here? We pretty much went through everything.
There are some great things potentially coming next patch, though.
Yeah. I'm just doing a quick read over.
I think it's going to be a good patch, other than the Necro. Like, when I was reading the patch notes, I was like, these are good patch notes. But that's only because the Necro wasn't in the patch notes.
Alright. I have one good quick topic. And I guess this might be our outgoing topic. What do y'all think about killing the questers in Cerdo right now? Dude, let's be real. It is fair game. Okay, so yesterday...
Welcome to Thunderdome, bitch.
Straight up. Yesterday, I played with Lobo. We were killing some people early. Was it yesterday? Or was it the day before?
Yeah.
It was yesterday? It was yesterday early. I went into Cerdo, dude. Okay, I fight people daily. I'll get a Haytel or one, maybe even none that night. I tell you this. I got 4 Haytels and what? We played for like 2 hours, Lobo? An hour? 2 hours? Dude, PvEers are fucking mad people. They're aggressive.
Dude, last night, the guy said it was the worst thing that's ever happened to him in his entire life. Did you see that forum post?
No.
I was so proud of that. All I did was try to extort him for gold and threaten to kill him if he didn't pay the Velastris questing application fee of 10,000.
I remember that.
Fantastic.
I saw that. I saw that.
He didn't pay the fee, so I had to kill him. Apparently that was the worst thing he's ever experienced in his entire life, and he made a post about it it just made my night. Like, after I read that post, I was like fucking rock hard for like hours. I had to go see a doctor. It was that long.
Badass.
But like, yeah, some of them get really mad, and like I totally understand where they're coming from. They're completionists. They wouldn't be playing this 5-year-old MMO if they weren't. And this is like the part of the game that they're new to. And I get that, but my excuse is that I roleplay when I do it, so I'm not griefing.
Dude,
I'm roleplaying, and every time they send me hate tells, they're ruining my immersion, and I'm going to report them for that.
See,
that's how I do it.
There definitely is a point where griefing starts, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have
it gets extensive.
PvP, so they either need to fight or they're just going to die. But like today, I went to Vlas. There was probably like 5 stand blades killing like 2 people over and over again. That's you don't need to do that. You know, kill people once, maybe twice if you accidentally kill the same person again. But I at least try and bounce around to different people.
Me personally, I don't like fucking with people, but after yesterday, man, I was just, you know, bro, like I'm done. If you get hit by a 20k Dawnbreaker, that's your fault for stepping into Cyrodiil. I know where the easy AP is going to be made, just like you guys know where to get the easy quest to get the easy boxes. What am I going to do? I'm going to go get PvP. That's what I'm going to go do. You're in Cyrodiil, bro. Literally dying in Cyrodiil zone. Like, I know the risk by coming in here. Just don't stop crying to me. Like, stop. I don't want your messages. I might play in offline mode next time because y'all are fucking rude.
But I did make 110,000 gold, last night.
That's crazy.
And questing application fees. So that was nice. That was nice.
Wait, seriously, people paid you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I literally watch people pay them on stream.
Zelly, we're doing the wrong thing, man.
Yeah, you guys are
we're missing out.
Being
we're missing out.
Chaotic evil. I'm lawful good, bro. I'm lawful good. Maybe lawful evil.
Lawfully
Should
chaos.
we hire ourselves out to be bodyguards and protect people?
Dude, I dead ass like not even bullshitting
you.
you.
A lot better than mercenary
not even bullshitting you.
Refunds.
I thought about hitting up Thogard, hopping on the same alliance and being like, let's just both roleplay as cops. I'll do a co-op roleplay stream as a cop.
Oh yeah.
Because that shit, I'm not gonna lie, that looks so fucking fun. Dude, blowing people up in all caps, like, give me money.
It was a lot of fun. You're more than welcome to join me.
Dude,
all of you.
It looked great. Careful to not offend PvE pixies. I offended them by PvPing them in a PvP zone. What can I say?
Your fault, honestly, bro.
SMH, bro. That's their fault for having their HP drop to 0. Man, like, bro. I don't know what else to tell you. Can Sub-Assault proc Ravaging? Does anyone know that answer? I've never used Ravaging on the Stam Warden, so I never tried that.
You wouldn't want to use Ravaging on a Stam Warden.
I don't think you would either.
Like, you need Ravaging up before your burst.
Mm-hmm.
And Sub-Assault's usually coming in during the burst combo. It's too random. You have a class like Stamplar where you can proc it off a Burning Light, which is a side proc from jabs. You know, and then you can put on the pressure to do your Dawnbreaker.
Please
but
stop
with
resisting.
Warden, your Dawnbreaker's coming in like a 0.2 or 0.1 seconds, ideally after the Sub-Assault lands anyway. And you don't want to be like, all right, hopefully it procs, maybe not. It doesn't lend itself well to the burst nature of the Warden class.
I agree. I enjoyed using Clever over stuff like that a lot more. I used to use 7th Legion on my Warden. When I needed the burst, it's just when I need to go in and burst, bro, I didn't like it. I didn't like 7th.
Make fun of me for. Never mind.
For what? For what? Using gap closers?
Clever Alchemist on Stamden. Because you made fun of the fact that it had 2 HP lines. Silly.
Oh yeah, because you had so much HP.
Builds.
This man had like
oh, I just thought of this great idea. Clever Alchemist on a Warden.
This man this man straight up would always talk about how I have low HP. He literally runs around with like 40k HP on a Warden with Clever Alchemist and maybe Plague Doctor or something, man. Dude, like Zergville, bro. This is the dude that cries on the forums because we PvP'd in the PvP zone. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. He's actually just a role player.
Oh.
I'm just kidding, Thogard.
Lord Zeal.
Damn. Destroyed.
She's going to be a naughty nurse. And I'm going to be a doctor that's got to write her prescription for my dick.
Toxic Tuesday coming early?
Need one of those. I know, right?
It flows out. It flows out. Can't stop it sometimes.
You can't do damage when your HP goes to 0. Best builds focus on HP over anything. The Mind of Thogard. You're right.
So, to be fair, you were running 21k HP in a CP campaign.
I don't remember ever running 21k HP.
I do.
The least I've ran is 22k, and I adjusted to get at least 24k. Cause fuck that 22k, bro.
Mondo
you slip on a
slip on a rock. Time when we at that first GVG. But that's neither here nor there. It's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there.
Spinners in the golden. The spinners rings, right? But okay, so Does anyone have last topics? I know Lobo had to go a while back, but you know, we've been talking, discussing.
What do you mean? He's right here. What?
Well, I mean, he had to go, but like
Right?
we've been chilling, bro. I remember he said something that he had to
Oh,
go.
he has to go.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
He's still here. Okay.
So, any final
Gotta go
topics?
extort people.
Any final topics? Any further questions, chat? Anybody? Did we miss anything besides permafrost is a stupid ass ability and it shouldn't snare? Anything other than that? People who complain about no PvE mode in Cerdo annoy you. I guess I kind of get it. Okay, look at it like this to a sense. Just like how we avoid other PvPers, we kind of have that respect in a sense. Like we don't fight the other small scale groups. I guess they're trying to expect us to not fight them, but the thing about them is that they'll literally like 40v1 us. So if we get the chance,
if you let them live, then they'll just wait.
they'll
until there's,
they'll
20
come back.
swarm you.
They'll come back with like 800 people, bro.
Dangerous.
And we aren't Spartans, dude. We're not gonna survive.
But
You know,
besides
did they
Zelda,
die off anyways, bro? Like,
Like you say the small scalers don't fight each other, but we do. We just don't do it there.
it's not.
You know?
Yeah. Oh no, we definitely have like fought like probably every group everywhere. It's just that like, if we both happen to run on a resource, or let's say my group runs into your group at a resource, we'll kind of look at each other, teabag a little bit, and one group will leave.
And you know, dude, you know that you'll get a message from me saying, "Hey, how many in your group?" And then you guys want to do like a 5v5 or a 4v4.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
just
but
and
we
we'd
do
have
it
to somewhere else exactly. We need to
it's
go.
like
Boom.
my kill list is comprised
1v10.
mostly of my friends. Like Zelly, you and I have never played in the same guild before. Like traditionally, we're on
Mhm.
opposing factions. But you're my buddy because we're both mature adults. Same with Lobo. You know, but like you and I have killed each other a ton of times.
Funny, dude.
And like we're able to do that without like, you know, disliking each other. And I think
Bro.
PvE doesn't have that thick skin built up yet. Neither are you, Rain. Neither are you.
Damn, Tannips, Thogard just kind of threw you under the bus, though.
No, Rain.
No.
I was making fun of Rain. I just want to be
You
clear.
said
I was making
neither.
fun of Rain.
I heard neither.
Rain hasn't even hit puberty yet.
God damn.
So-
Yo, watch it, bro. Rain's a streamer too, man. Be
Oh, you're
respectful.
right. I can't say that.
Be respectful. God. Here's the thing, though. There's like 30 PvE zones and only one actual PvP zone. And they still want to do only PvE insert. That's why I killed them, dude. Like, fight back or just Zerg us down. We will leave you alone after your Zerg is down enough. We'll be like, okay, we just can't get anything done. We'll just move on to another town. Yesterday,
and if
bro.
they pay the questing registration fee
Yeah, see,
to
dude.
their local law enforcement officer, I leave them be.
See? Pay Thogard 10k, 15k. Good.
Depends on if the pet's okay.
If I check your papers, buddy, and you got that
There's a
Thogard
5K
signature,
low registration fee
thing.
as well.
you're good to go. Just don't have a pet. Unless you do the
And don't forget,
registration
if you
fee.
do have pets, spay and neuter your sort pets. There's too many of them. It's getting out of hand.
So can we line up and all get paid 10k as they walk in? You know, they have to register for different things as they come into quest.
We would need to be on different factions, so we can make sure to kill everybody that breaks the law. We'll talk about this off stream.
We'll find out.
I'll bring you into how it works.
The real
It's
Bear
not
Dave.
extortion; it's law enforcement. We're the good guys, okay? They're the ones questing without permits.
The real Bear Dave says, quote unquote, Zerg is down. But doesn't every PvP streamer bitch endlessly about Zerging and Brand Evans? The thing about this PvE Zerg, though, is that you literally see like 15 people that are straight up like with 15k health. You see people that don't necessarily know what they're doing. So those aren't as bad. The Zerging that we hate is where you get, and I'm going to try to leave some guild names out of it, Knights of Night, where they will like drop 20 ultimates on you use 18 Earth Cores while you drop you one little Dawnbreaker to counter. That's the Zerg we don't like. At least when you're getting Zerged by little PvEers, you could be like, oh, I accidentally just killed this guy with an 18k Dawnbreaker. At least I got one on the way out. Like, it's not as bad. But, man, like, I don't know, bro. Scar, have you tried to learn to play? I'm pretty sure you were so bad at PC you went back to Xbox. That's what happened, right? Yeah, get out of here. Love Sakar.
Calm Sakar.
Damn, I'm kidding. I'm sorry, I'm hanging out with Thogard too much, okay? No oofs in chat. Y'all stop that.
That's toxic. I said it at the beginning of the stream. I'm a nice guy. Okay? I'm a nice guy.
Bad influence, bro.
I'm a nice guy. I'm a positive influence.
Alright. Well, I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I want to thank this man right here, Thogard, for rating the stream and actually giving some population to it. Even if we had 2 people in chat, I still would have gone through with it. Anyways, to the point, thank you, Thogard. And thank you for your goofy-ass Toxic Tuesdays and your roleplay streams.
Nothing goofy about it. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch.
Shout out to llElloboll for playing with me like 24/7. Literally being the guy to wake me up in the fucking morning with messages and be like, get your ass on. And then Tannips for being my old co-GM and for still being chill, even though he said maybe like 3 sentences during this whole stream.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay, 4.
Pretty close.
Maybe
pretty
like
close.
4. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it, man. I asked this many times if there was any other questions or anything, but we kind of went over. We're kind of over pretty much everything. Like, we've pretty much gone over everything I planned for at least today. This isn't going to be the only podcast, so we're definitely going to have another one. The only thing is that I don't know if it's going to be the same 4 people every time. We initially were going to have Scar. Scar couldn't have made it. I reached out to Tannips. And if it wasn't Tannips, I didn't know what I was going to do. Because I was like, Tannips is the only other dude that I would want on here. Like, so early. Because I knew he would show up. Like, instantly. Like, bam. Like, okay, bro, give me that clout. Yeah. Give me that. Bro, you see him? And he's not clapping with his hands. I'm going to say that right now. It's with them booty cheeks. I know him. Yo, Delirious going crazy with the gifted subs in here, man. Appreciate it a lot, buddy. I have my notifications off right now, but thank you so much, man. But yeah, guys, other than that, it's been fantastic. Y'all have been lit. Thanks for chatting. I'm sorry if we missed any messages. No, we missed a lot because the chat has been scrolling. Feeling like Shroud Jr. over here. That shit's been fucking just scrolling, man. But y'all guys, it was fun.
For anyone that came over here from my stream, I'm going to get back into my shirt and tie, reassume my true identity, which is a cat. Give me about like 15 minutes though so I can eat this sandwich. It's been like sitting here taunting me this entire time. But yeah.
Real quick, Thogard, read Discord.
Which one?
Our group chat for this.
Oh, let me. I want to eat first, though. Thank you.
Oh, you want to? Oh, all right, all right then. Not a problem. Well, all right, guys, it was fun. The shit was lit. Stream is going to go ahead and come down. I just wanted to do this quick podcast.
Actually, hold on, because if you don't have anyone else to host, I can turn mine on and just turn off my webcam and eat that way. You guys can hear me eating without actually watching me eat.
So are you actually going to go live, or am I just going to send everyone to llElloboll?
Go live right now.
Because llElloboll is about to go live too. Oh, you're not live?
I still got to go kiss the
Oh, yeah, you got to do... Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just go live real quick, and I'm going to re-raid you guys back over to Thogard, all right, guys? Because that's where pretty much all of you guys came from real quick. But all right, homies, it's been fun, man. If y'all want more information about these podcasts, I do announce them in the Discord. So there's a Discord. Join that shit, bro. Come talk to me. Find out information for everything else. We're going about almost 2 hours. But yo, it was fun. Thogard's gonna go eat real quick. But guys, it's been great. And well, I'll see y'all next time. Peace out, guys.